I don't remember the last words we said to each other, but I remember the silence that followed. It wasn't loud. It didn't scream or slam doors. It just moved in, quietly, like a guest who planned to stay. At first I thought you'd come back. You always did. When you were a little boy, you'd run off angry, hide behind the shed, then come out with tears and a scraped knee, and I'd hold you like the world was ending. But this time, it's been 4 years, and you never came back. Every morning, I still boil 2 cups of tea, one for me, one for you. I tell myself it's just habit, but deep down, I know it's hope wearing disguise. Your room hasn't changed. Your jacket still hangs by the door. Your muddy shoes are still there, as if they'll walk out any minute. Some days I almost call your name, but the walls have learned your silence so well that they echo nothing back. When people ask how you are, I smile. I say, he's doing well, he's just busy. It's easier to lie than to explain that you're alive somewhere, and yet somehow I've lost you completely. Sometimes I wonder where I went wrong. Was it that night we argued about your job, or the day I told you I didn't like the woman you were seeing? You slammed your car door that day and said, "You'll never understand me." Maybe you were right, maybe I didn't, but no mother stops loving her child just because she doesn't understand him. Love doesn't vanish, it just sits quietly, like a letter unsent, waiting for the courage to leave the drawer. So tonight, I decided to stop pretending. I took out pen and paper, and I started writing to you. Not because I think you'll read it, but because the words have been hurting inside me for too long. I stared at the blank page for so long that the lines started to blur. Every time I tried to write your name, my hand shook, and the pen left a small ink blot like a wound that refused to dry. It's strange, isn't it? How you can raise someone from their first cry to their first heartbreak, and still not know how to speak to them when they're grown. When you were little, I could read you without words. I knew what every sigh meant, what every frown was hiding. If you couldn't sleep, I'd know before you even called. Now, years later, I can't tell if you're happy, if you're safe, if you ever think of home. That thought keeps me awake more than the silence itself, so I write this letter, Daniel, because it's the only way I can still talk to you without feeling foolish, because I'm afraid that if I don't, one day the words inside me will turn into stones, and I'll carry their weight until my heart stops. I know you blamed me for many things, for being too cautious, too protective, too much of a mother when all you wanted was space. You used to say, "Mom, I need to make my own mistakes," and I used to whisper, "But what if one of them takes you too far from me?" Maybe that was selfish. Maybe love is always a little selfish when it fears losing what it can't replace. I remember that last week before you left. You were packing boxes in your room, your music loud enough to drown out every word we didn't say. You didn't even let me fold your clothes, said you'd rather do it yourself. So I stood at the doorway, watching you, pretending to look proud when all I felt was something breaking quietly inside my chest. You didn't see it, or maybe you did and didn't know what to do with it. When you closed the trunk of your car, you didn't look back. I told myself you'd call when you got there. You didn't. Then I told myself you'd call next week. You didn't. Months passed, then birthdays, then Christmases, and the silence stretched until it became its own language, one I never learned to speak. I tried to find little ways to stay connected. I sent you cards, simple ones, nothing heavy. Sometimes I slipped in a $20 bill like that could buy me a minute of your time. They always came back unopened. The last one was marked "Return to Sender." I still keep it in the drawer where I keep the family photos. It reminds me that love can reach every corner of this world, except the one where you choose not to receive it. People tell me, give him time, he'll come around, but they don't understand that time doesn't heal distance, it just teaches you how to hide the bruise. Every year I grow a little quieter about you, because people get tired of hearing a mother talk about her missing child when the child isn't missing, just gone in a different way. They think grief only belongs to death, but this kind of grief, this living silence, it hums under everything I do. I've replayed our last conversation 1,000 times. I remember saying things I didn't mean, and meaning things I was too proud to say. You had your father's stubbornness, and I had my mother's temper, and together we built a wall neither of us could climb. Sometimes I wonder if you kept waiting for me to reach out first. Sometimes I think I did, but pride is such a cruel thing. It lets love rot while convincing you you're still right. If you could see me now, Daniel, you'd probably laugh. You'd say, "Mom, you're still dramatic." Maybe I am, but you should know that drama comes from the same place as love. It just refuses to stay quiet. I still listen for your voice when the phone rings. I still turn my head when I hear someone call Mom in the grocery store. And every Sunday when the church bells ring, I whisper your name under my breath, like maybe heaven has better reception than this earth ever did. I'm not writing this letter to make you feel guilty. I'm writing it because I've finally understood something. Silence doesn't protect us. It only delays the words we'll wish we'd said when it's too late. So here I am, Daniel, 52 years old, sitting by the same window where I once waited for you to come home from school, still hoping one day you'll read this. I don't know where to send it, and maybe it's not meant to be sent at all. But if there's a chance that the universe can carry words the way air carries scent, then maybe somehow, these words will find you. And if they do, I hope they remind you of the one simple truth that time and distance can't erase. No matter how far you've gone, you're still my son, and I never stopped waiting for you to knock on that door. I remember the silence most. Not the day you stopped coming home. Not even the day I stopped expecting your call, but the silence that filled every corner of this house afterward. It wasn't a quiet you could get used to. It was the kind that hums in the walls, presses against your ribs, and makes even the sound of a spoon against a cup feel too loud. For weeks after you left, I still cooked for two. I'd stand at the stove, stirring stew as if you'd walk through the door any second, saying, "Smells good, Ma." I'd set your plate at the table, then clear it later, untouched. The first time I didn't cook for you, I cried so hard I burned the onions. I told myself it was just pride keeping you away, that sooner or later you'd remember me, remember us. But the weeks stretched into months, and months into years. I learned that pride hardens faster than love softens. I kept busy, at least that's what I told everyone. Church on Sundays, volunteering at the shelter, tending to my small garden. People think time heals everything, but it doesn't. Time just teaches you how to wear the pain differently, like a piece of clothing you no longer notice until you catch your reflection in a window. Sometimes I'd pass a young man on the street who looked like you from behind. I'd slow down, squinting, my heart racing, and every time it wasn't you. Once I even followed a boy halfway down the block before realizing the foolishness of it. The ache that followed was worse than before. I still remember your laugh though. God, I hope I never forget that. You used to laugh with your whole face, eyes closed, shoulders shaking, no care for who was watching. You got that from your father. He was the same way before life turned him quiet. You know I've written this letter to you before many times, but I always tore it up halfway through. Because every time I started, I'd hear your voice in my head. "Why now, Ma? Why didn't you say this when I was still there?" And I'd have no answer. The truth is, I didn't know how. Mothers aren't taught what to do when their children become strangers. We're trained to kiss bruises, to stay up when they have fevers, to clap the loudest when they win, but no one teaches us how to reach across years of silence. No one tells us what to do when our love becomes too heavy to carry, yet too precious to set down. There's a drawer in my bedside table filled with little things of yours. You left them behind like breadcrumbs. The watch I bought you for your 18th birthday, the one you said you'd never wear because it made you feel too adult, your old report cards, that blue scarf you forgot on the couch the last winter you were home. I still smell it sometimes. It doesn't smell like you anymore, but it still hurts in the same way. I think about the last words we said to each other. I replay them over and over, like a scene I wish I could rewrite. You said you never listened to me, and I said something cold, something sharp that I can't even bear to repeat now, but you left before I could say I was sorry. Before I could tell you that I was listening, I just didn't know how to hear you. You see, you were trying to tell me who you were becoming, and I was too busy trying to protect who I thought you were supposed to be. I didn't understand that love sometimes means letting go of the version of your child that only exists in your memory. If you're reading this, if somehow this letter finds you, I want you to know that not a day goes by that I don't think of you. I wonder where you are, who you've become, if someone loves you the way I should have. Do you still laugh with your whole face? Do you still hum when you cook? Do you still talk to yourself when you're nervous? I wonder if anyone notices those things about you, because I still do. Even from here, in the quiet corners of my life, I still see you in everything. The sunrise reminds me of you. You are always my morning, bright, loud, impossible to ignore. The sunset reminds me too, because no matter how long the day has been, I still whisper, "Good night, my boy," to the fading light. I keep the porch light on every night, just in case. It's silly, I know, but I can't help it. The light's my way of saying, you can always come home. I don't know if this letter will ever find you. Maybe it'll sit in a drawer for years, growing yellow and soft at the edges. Maybe someone will find it after I'm gone, unfold it carefully and whisper, "He should have seen this." Or maybe by some small miracle, you'll hold it yourself one day. And if you do, I hope you read it all the way to the end. Because this is the part I never said out loud. After you left, I spent a long time being angry. Angry at you for walking away. Angry at myself for letting you. Angry at the world for making everything so complicated between us. But beneath all that anger was something smaller, quieter, and far more dangerous. Shame. I was ashamed that I didn't understand you. That when you tried to tell me who you were, I let fear speak louder than love. I thought I was protecting you, guiding you, keeping you safe from a world that could be cruel, but in truth, I was just scared. Scared of losing the version of you that I'd memorized. Scared that if I accepted your truth, it would mean admitting I had failed somehow as a mother. Do you know what I realized? That's what all parents fear, in the end, that our children will outgrow the stories we wrote for them. When your father died, I thought my heart had learned everything there was to know about loss. But losing someone who's still alive, that's a different kind of grief. It's the kind that doesn't announce itself. It creeps in through familiar places. Your empty chair at dinner, the sound of your old music coming from a neighbor's house. It's like losing you one memory at a time. Every year on your birthday, I still bake that same chocolate cake you loved as a kid, the one you'd beg for extra frosting on. I set one slice aside, wrap it carefully, and keep it in the fridge for a few days before finally throwing it away. It's my small ritual, my quiet way of pretending you're still part of the day. You know what else I do? I talk to you. Not out loud, not always, but when I'm sweeping the floor or watering the plants, I find myself saying things like, "You'd laugh at this, wouldn't you?" Or "I wish you could see this sunset, it's just like the one you painted in high school." Sometimes, I catch myself smiling. Other times, the words crack mid-air and fall into silence. There's something I never told you, and it's the hardest part of this letter. After you stopped talking to me, I used to drive by your old apartment, quietly, slowly, never stopping. I didn't want you to see me, I just wanted to feel close to you. One day, I saw you walking down the street. You were with someone. You looked happy, really happy. You had that light in your eyes again, the one I hadn't seen since you were little. I sat there in the car, watching, crying and smiling all at once. That's when it hit me. You were okay. You had found your place in the world, even without me. It hurt, but it also freed me. I stopped waiting for an apology, and I stopped writing angry prayers. I started praying for your joy instead. Every night I'd whisper your name, not in sorrow, but in gratitude, because at least one of us had found peace. Still, I wish I could have told you that in person. I wish I could have told you that I am proud of you, so incredibly proud of the man you've become, even if I only get to witness it from afar. If you ever read this someday, I want you to know this: I don't need your apology, I don't need you to come back, I just need you to know that there was never a day I stopped loving you, even when my silence made it seem that way, even when my pride stood in the way of my arms opening, even when I didn't understand you, I loved you. I know life is short, I see it in the mirror every morning, the soft wrinkles deepening, the silver strands multiplying, the quiet acceptance of time. If I could go back, I'd hold you tighter, I'd listen more, I'd stop trying to fix you and start trying to understand you. I'd tell you that who you are is enough, and if this is the last letter I ever write, let it say what my mouth never could: I forgive you, I forgive myself too, and I love you then, now, and always. Sometimes, late at night, I imagine you walking through that front door again. You'd look a little older, maybe taller, maybe with more lines around your eyes. I'd probably cry before I could even say a word, but you'd smile that old smile, the one that made the whole world feel lighter. You'd say, "Hi, Ma," and I'd say, "Welcome home." Until then, I'll keep the porch light on, always.